Hey, and welcome back to another video, guys. Today we're going to be going over the 2019 draft grades for every NFL team. This is obviously after the 2019 draft, so I figured it'd be fun to go through and just kind of see what they graded them, how they turned out, and kind of regrade them as well on the fly. Just kind of looking at it, see what they grade, and kind of say where I think they are. If you do like the video, of course, leave a like on the video. It helps out a lot. Subscribe if you're new. And if you guys are looking for another 7-round mock draft, I'm going to start doing those again now. Now that free agency is kind of dying down, I'm going to get back into the 7-round mock drafts and everything. I didn't want to do them during the free agency bidding just because why would I mock a first-round grade to, let's say, I don't know, off the top of my head I can't think of one, but if someone needs a corner, and they, like the Chargers, if I said, oh, like first round, they're going to get a corner or whatever, and they get Chris Harris, it just makes everything stupid. Obviously, they wouldn't go for a corner that high. You get the idea, though. So we're going to get back to the 7-round mock draft. So leave in the comment section below what team you want me to do. Go to the playlist. I have a playlist with all the 7-round mock drafts in them. Make sure that your team isn't already done. And if you want to see me redo your team, let me know in the comment section below as well. This is going to be it. I think it goes in alphabetical order. And yeah, so they have the whole draft class here. And we're going to go through it with the Cardinals. Right off the bat, we have Kyler Murray. I think they did a very good job here. They got Isabel in the second over DK Metcalf, which I don't agree with. But he could be helpful now, especially with DeAndre Hopkins there. Byron Murphy in the second was a great pick by them. He's going to be a starter for years to come. Deontay Thompson was a really good pickup by them. Hakeem Butler's shown flashes. Zach Allen, their DN that they drafted as well, hasn't played as well. They got an A+. I'd still give them the A+. I think that Andy Isabella could have been Metcalf. It could have been even better, but it's not a necessarily horrible pick. I think he has upside. I think he can play well, especially when Larry retires. He can kind of fill in that third receiver hole. Pretty stellar, I think. I think he'll be good in the slot. Byron Murphy, like I said, Deontay Thompson, great picks. And, of course, Kyler Murray, Rookie of the Year. When you draft the Rookie of the Year, number 1, you did a good job. So that's an A+ grade for them. I agree. Atlanta Falcons, I don't think they did that good. I don't think McGarry is the worst tackle, but it really wasn't that good. Lindstrom and McGarry are kind of like, they need to progress. So as of right now, they're probably low. Maybe they can get better. But yeah, Sheffield isn't really too much to ride home about. He's good. But overall C, I'd keep it there. I think C is a good grade for them just because you don't know what you're getting out of McGarry and Lindstrom yet. 1 year, especially on the offensive line, you're not just going to be great right away. It takes time. So C is actually a pretty good grade for them. We go over to the Ravens with Hollywood Brown. They got Hollywood Brown, Justice Hill, Miles Boykin, Jalen Ferguson. They gave him a B+. I'm gonna give him a B as of right now. Jalen Ferguson, he might have to fill that role, but right now he's not gonna be anything. If Judon ends up not coming back, then that's what it is. Justice Hill played decent when he got in there. Boykin, same thing. He played decent, nothing too crazy. But I think Hollywood Brown, now looking back at the draft, I think he was a reach. He has all the tools to be there, but he still deals with injuries. I don't know, when he was out there, I wasn't seeing Tyreek Hill or like a Deshaun Jackson type. I kind of was just seeing like a solid shorter receiver, especially when you're comparing it to A.J. Brown and Darius Slayton and DK Metcalf, these Terry McLaurin, Deebo Samuel, all these guys who did so great. I think Marquise Brown in a redraft would go a lot lower than probably all those guys. I think I would take all those guys I just mentioned over Marquise Brown at this moment in time. Ravens fans, I know that might upset you. I think Hollywood Brown's still going to be good. Obviously, it's just after year 1. So I'd probably give them I'd knock him down to a B, I think, instead of a B+. Marquise Brown's still solid, but compared to the other receivers in his class, when it looked like he was the only first-round grade at receiver, I think that's going to be a little low for them. Buffalo Bills, they got Ed Oliver. They also got Dawson Knox. Dawson Knox is listed here. Devin Singletary, Cody Ford. This is an A+ draft. A++ if anything. Ed Oliver's a beast. He showed that he's very solid and he's just going to get better. You look at what they got in Cody Ford, who did nothing wrong in the playoffs. That fine is so stupid. And yeah, but he's a really good offensive lineman. I love him coming out of Oklahoma. Devin Singletary is going to be the lead back. He showed that he can handle that load. And Dawson Knox actually is probably going to fill in as their tight end for next year as well. They got 4 starters and 4 picks. Hard to say that. 4 solid starters as well. Hard to say that for a lot of teams. So A+ for the Bills, and I don't see any reason otherwise. Carolina Panthers. Let's look here. Brian Burns was a very good pick. He's a beast on the edge. It kind of got underperformed. They did get Greer, which I don't think Greer is going to be a starter next year at all. Obviously, with Teddy Bridgewater there, they don't believe in him. It was kind of a pick that they were hoping maybe could do something, and it's just not worth it. Greg Little is pretty solid. Christian Miller is solid as well. They give it a C plus. Man, I bump it up to a B. I think Brian Burns was a beast. That was a great pick by them. A lot of people thought they might have reached here. I think Brian Burns was a great pick. I think Greg Little can do pretty well, especially with Darrell Williams just signing a deal to play elsewhere. I forgot what team he signed. Christian Miller can do as well. Coming out of Alabama, I think he can do really good. I feel like they got another pick that they got Joey Sly as well. Joey Sly, pretty sure he was a rookie last year. He's really good as well. So I'd bump it up to a B minus, B minus. If I said B before, apologies. B minus. Just kind of knocking it up. They're probably at the 80, 81 overall range. Chicago Bears, I'm straight up F. I'm giving them an F at D minus. I'll give them a D minus, and they got a C here. I'm giving them a D minus. They put all their eggs in the David Montgomery basket, and coming out of college, I didn't even see him as that great. He's decent, but I didn't see him as that great. And this year, he really didn't show much to say that he's going to be this franchise back. He's okay. I mean, he's a fourth round running back in my opinion. They only had 5 picks, and they really weren't that notable. David Montgomery, like I said, wasn't really. I D minus is what I'd be giving them. They don't have a first round pick this year either. Khalil Mack really is costing this team, and you got to see what they're going to do. Maybe they'll trade into the first round, but I'd give them a D minus. They give them a C. That's where we are at this point. Cincinnati Bengals. This one kind of sucks because Johan Williams didn't even play this year. I still think he's going to be great. I think he's a really good player at Alabama. Move him into guard, keep him at tackle, whatever you want to do. Drew Sample was okay. I think the tight end position is just so weird, especially in Cincinnati. So we might be able to see. I think this whole draft is not Ryan Finley. He's not there. But I think this whole draft is a developmental project where they're going to be more coming into this year with hopefully Joe Burrow at the helm. So I'm going to give him a D. I'll stick with a D just because we don't really know. It's more of a to be determined, but D seems pretty well. Cleveland Browns. They got Greedy Williams in the second, which I thought was going to be a steal. It turns out he really wasn't as good. Taki, he had some good plays. Mack Wilson actually proved to be a very good linebacker. I liked Mack Wilson last year as well. I'm not really sure if Sheldrick Redwine. I don't know if he did anything. Austin Seibert wasn't anything. They gave him an A. I'm knocking it down to a B minus. And that's really the Mack Wilson pick that saved him. I mean, they traded their pick, which turned out to be Dexter Lawrence for Odell. The season didn't go well last year. Redwine did not replace Jabril Peppers at all. Mack Wilson was a very good pick, though, and I think Greedy Williams can turn out to be very good as well. So I give him a B minus. Not a horrible draft at all for their circumstances. I mean, they did come out with Odell from trading the draft pick. So take some, give some, but I'd say B minus is solid just because the Mack Wilson pick was very good. Greedy Williams can turn out to be something, but those same concerns we had coming into the draft last year was his slimness and his durability, and we saw both of those get exploited last year. So we'll see where it goes, but as of right now, I'd say B minus. We might even come back next year and go back to it. Dallas Cowboys, man, rough draft for them. Tristan Hill was a complete bust at the pick right away. I really like Tony Pollard. They gave it a C plus. I gotta knock it down. It's probably a solid D. It's not gonna be a D plus. It's not gonna be a D minus. I think the Tony Pollard pick was a very solid pick. I think he's very good coming out of the backfield behind Zeke. I think that when they put him in, he doesn't disappoint really. But nobody else really did much for them, in my opinion. McGovern, like I said, another guy where it was okay. Tristan Hill was a complete bust of a pick at this moment in time. Hopefully he can get some PT next year, but as of right now, I think it's a solid D because McGovern can fill a hole. Maybe he'll fill into that Frederick hole now that he's retired. And like I said, I like Tony Pollard as well, so I'll give it a D. Dallas Cowboys, Noah Fant. This is an A plus draft, straight up. B plus. This grade will shoot up to an A if lock. You see, even they notice A plus. I give it an A plus. Noah Fant, I really like coming out of Iowa. The fact that him and Hawkinson were both top 20 picks is insane. But Noah Fant, I think, is going to have a great career. He kind of showed a lot of good flashes towards the end of the year as well. Same with Drew Lock. Drew Lock came in and was a very fun starter to watch. Did a lot right for the team. I think that's good. Dalton Risner, I think he's a solid pick as well. On top of Draymond Jones, I think that I had him as a first-round grade originally. So to see him fall to 71, I still think he can fill in pretty well behind Jarrell Casey. I think is who they have in the middle now. So I think it's going to be an A+ for the Broncos as well. Very solid draft class. Is what you need to knock 3 out of your 4 picks out of the park. Out of those ones, at least. Detroit Lions, TJ Hawkinson. Man, TJ Hawkinson looked like a beast those first few weeks, and then he kind of slowed down. Who else did they get? They got Tavai. Tavai was pretty solid. Will Harris was decent. Aruye was decent. They gave it a B-. I think it's good there. I think B- is solid as well. Hawkinson didn't wow anybody for his freshman year in the league. He's probably going to be really good throughout the years. I think it's just going to take time to progress. They didn't have Matt Stafford, so it's kind of hard to see where everything will go. They also got Ty Johnson later on in the draft. It's not obviously listed here. But I think B- is solid. Tavai, I'll bump it to a B. I'll say a B, maybe even a B+, because the Ty Johnson pick helped him out later in the year. But Bo Scarborough actually helped him out more than Ty Johnson, in my opinion. No, I'll say B. Solid B. I think that's where the Lions are at. Go to the Green Bay Packers. Man, this is a weird one because Rashawn Gary was a complete bust at number 12. He did nothing last year. But Darnell Savage was a monster, and it was a reach in the first round, especially at 21. Not even like the very end of the first round. But he was very, very good. Elgin Jenkins was did he make a Pro Bowl this year? He was a very solid pick for the Packers. He did very well in that offensive line. Sternberger didn't really see the field as much. They gave it an A-. I'm gonna knock it down to a B+. Nah, A- is good. A- is good. Darnell Savage and Elgin Jenkins kind of overtake the Rashawn Gary thing. You hope Rashawn Gary can bounce back and be something in the second year. Sternberger maybe can do something now with Jimmy Graham gone, but A-, I think that's solid for them. Kind of on the helm of a B+, so like a 90. I think that's very solid. Houston Texans. Lonnie Johnson was pretty solid his rookie year. Wasn't the best corner, but he was solid. Is who they're saying. Titus Howard, Max Sharpening. Not really two names that you're like, whoa. They gave it a D. I'll give it a D+. Lonnie Johnson did very well from being pick 54, and then Titus Howard, although number 23 at this point is probably a more of a reach than anything. I think that he's gonna. I think he's good enough to be a solid tackle for the next few years at least, if not more than that. So I give it a D+ in my personal opinion. Sorry, seeing if anything happened in the free agency class. Yeah, so I think D+ is a good way to go. Mooring, nothing really, and same with Sharping. Nothing off the top of my head to write home about. Then you got Rocky Sin going to the Colts, who I don't know. I thought he was going to be a complete beast. He had, I don't know. This one's a weird one. Okereke did solid. Ben Boundigu didn't really do much. Paris Campbell was subpar. He was kind of thrusted into the number 1 role, and he was injured as well, and it was kind of weird. They gave it an A-. I think I'm going to knock it down to a straight B. I think Okereke can be something solid. I think Rocky Sin is going to be very good, especially with this year gone now. They just signed Xavier Rhodes, too, so he's going to have more PT. Same with Paris Campbell. It's kind of one of those things where it was weird. They were in a weird quarterback year. Now with Phillip Rivers, it might be better. So I'm gonna do a B. Yeah, I'll stick B. Solid B. I think it can go a lot more higher, especially with the other guys. But off the top of my head, I think based on their last few drafts too, with how great their last few drafts were, this at no point was a horrible draft, but I think it's a solid B and probably closer B+. Kind of like an 86 in my opinion. Jaguars, Jawan Taylor in the second round was insane when they got him. I thought he was a top 15, top 20 tackle, and for him to fall all the way to 35. I thought the Jags could even in some mock drafts, I had the Jags getting Jawan Taylor at 7 last year. And for him to fall all the way to 35 was insane. Josh Allen was a complete monster last year. We all knew he was going to be a monster, and he really was. I think he led. Did he lead the rookies in sacks, or did Bosa overtake him? One of them had whatever, but Josh Oliver was actually solid as well. They gave it a B plus. I'm bumping it up to a A, not an A plus, but an A. Just because Josh Allen fell right into their laps, and it was great. Jawan Taylor is going to be very good as well at the tackle position. They got Gardner Minshew. No, A plus. I totally even forgot the Gardner Minshew thing happened. A plus. They have their starting quarterback who overtook Nick Foles, the Super Bowl champion. Yeah. So for them to get Minshew, for them to get Taylor, for them to get Allen, even Josh Oliver, if you want to throw him in there, A plus for the Jags. Looks like very good a year in. Kansas City Chiefs. Juan Thornhill was a very good pick at 63. It was surprising that he fell past the Cowboys and other teams. Mecole Hardman was solid. Did they not have a first round pick? I don't remember. Oh yeah, they traded with a first round pick for Frank Clark. So for not having a first round pick, coming out with Thornhill and Hardman, who have been both very good on their teams. B minus. I bumped it up to a B plus. I'm not a big Mecole Hardman fan. I think that he's a product of the team's success. That's why he had a lot of success, but he's still not. He's not even close to one of the worst receivers there. He did solid when he was called upon. And Juan Thornhill was a starter already for them, and I think that that's going to be good for them. So I say B plus for them. Very good for them for what they had. Chargers, Jerry Tillery. You hope he can progress into something more than what he is right now, because right now it looks like the Chargers and the Cowboys both just completely whiffed on interior pass rush. Nasir Adderley, I thought he was going to be a very, very good. He still has the potential to be Trey Pipkins. I mean, I'm knocking it down to like a C. Tillery was nothing too good. Nasir Adderley, I think he was injured too. But, I mean, that defense took a big hit with no Derwin James last year. So, I think a C is a solid place for them to start. And we can go from there, especially seeing how Adderley and Tillery perform year 2. But as of right now, I'd say a C. Then we go over to the Rams. They got Taylor Rapp at 61. They got Darrell Henderson at 70, who is slated to be the starting running back this year, I think, unless I think he is slated to be the starting running back. David Long, I think he did okay. I don't remember him doing too bad. They gave it a B. I'd stick with a B. I think Rapp can be very good. Henderson, I still think is okay. It's just he couldn't get up in that depth chart. They tried to push Gurley, and when they didn't have Gurley, they were doing, was it Malcolm Brown as a backup, and David Long I like out of Michigan. So I think B is still solid for them. Miami Dolphins getting Christian Wilkins at 13. They did trade for Rosen as well. Who else did they get? They're really only talking about Christian Wilkins. So, I mean, off the top of my head, I can't really think of all the rookies that they have, but this was such a weird year for them, but they produced well. I'm just going to stick with a B because I don't think Wilkins is that bad. I think he was put into a bad situation. But yeah, I think they can do good, especially coming into this year. I'll do B just for them not providing the guys right here. I can't think off the top of my head all the draft picks that the Dolphins had last year. But I'll stick with a B because I think Wilkins is good, not great, at least at this moment in time. For the Vikings, Bradbury was a very good pick for them. He did he was above average at the position this year. Irv Smith Jr. was a reach for them. I don't think because they did that and then they signed what's his face back, Kyle Rudolph back to a 4-year deal. Irv Smith really didn't see the light of day too often. Bradbury was a good pick. I think Irv Smith's talent is there. I just don't know if he's in a solid place for them unless they slate him out to like a receiver this year. Armon Watts, it doesn't really matter off the top of my head. C+, I'd bump it up to a B-. I think these two picks are actually very good. It's just scheme last year wasn't too solid for Irv Smith, but Bradbury did very well. I think Irv Smith's going to be doing well. B- for them. New England Patriots, N'Keal Harry, Winovich, Johan Williams. They give it an A+. Damian Harris, Kachus. You got to bump it down to an A-. I think N'Keal Harry is still going to be a great receiver. When he was on the field healthy, he provided the star power they wanted, and he looked like a first-rounder. It's just the targets weren't there. Brady just wasn't able to get the ball out to the guys. When you look at like what Harry was getting out there, I mean, when the ball came to him, he was making great plays. He looked like a solid receiver, And we'll see a lot more what happens next year with N'Keal. I think that he was misused this last year. Winovich had a great rookie year out of Michigan. I think that he is going to be very solid for them for years to come. Johan Williams, again, another guy who's going to be good in their secondary, especially with the McCourty twins getting up there in age. I think that you got to knock his under A- just because of how N'Keal Harry's rookie year went. But overall, A-. It's not a bad draft at all. It's a very good draft for the Patriots. I mean, they also got, what's his name? The quarterback as well. Can't think of his name off the top of my head. It'll come to me. But who's slated to be their starter most likely, unless Brian Hoyer beats him out for the job. New Orleans Saints, Eric McCoy was a great pick for the Saints. He was such a good center for them this year. Let's see, who else did they have? Again, another thing where they didn't really talk about more of their picks. They gave it a C. I'm bumping that up to a B+, just for the Eric McCoy pick. He was such a good center this year, and they didn't have a first or a third round pick, so that's probably why. But yeah, I'm giving it a B+, because I don't know their other guys, but I don't want to say it was such a great draft. But Eric McCoy was so good this year for them. So B+ for them. New York Giants, let's see what they gave him. Probably like a D- or something. They gave it a D. Giants, obviously I'm a Giants fan. I'm wearing Giants stuff right now. But being realistic here, DeAndre Baker did not have a good year. His last few weeks were a lot better than what they were. But teams were targeting him right out of the gates. Janoris Jenkins was still playing well for us, but we knew he was going to be a cut candidate. So Baker was kind of targeted a lot more than he had to. Daniel Jones, I loved him coming out of Duke. I wanted the Giants to get him if he was there. I was okay with them getting him there. I was excited because I liked his Duke tape. So getting him at 6 looked like a complete reach. And they're saying it was a complete disaster. And they're saying DeAndre Baker was a great move, which in reality it switched around. Baker was solid towards the end of the year. I think he'll progress into something better than what he showed last year. I think he has the tools to be better. Dexter Lawrence was insanely good. He did exactly what we wanted him to do, and that was just plug the middle. He's a big boy, you know? So to have him plug the middle was very good. Daniel Jones was a great pick for them. We didn't get Josh Allen, which sucks. It says it was a big mistake, but looking back, it was the right move. Who else did we get last year? We got tight end, too. I'm not thinking of his name right now, but he was very good when Evan Ingram was gone. We had a middle linebacker who did very well for us as well. Darius Slayton in the 5th round. This is an A+ draft for that alone. You wish that the DeAndre Baker pick was better, but when you look at how bad the defense was, it wasn't that odd that DeAndre Baker was getting burned. Daniel Jones is slated. I mean, he threw 24 touchdowns last year. I think the rookie record is 26. So to see that production coming in week 4, the way he did too, or was it week 3? It was week 3 because then he won the first 2 games, and then everything happened. The team itself wasn't good, but Daniel Jones came in. His first game was insane. I've never been so excited as a Giants fan in the last 5 years. Was that game when he came back against the Bucs. Dexter Lawrence was a beast. Baker's shown a lot of upside. Darius Slayton is a complete monster on the outside. His speed, his technique, his route running is so good. Plus the other guys. It's an A+ draft. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about that. Obviously, as a Giants fan, I don't want to be biased towards anything, but Darius Slayton just wrecked the league. I mean, he's part of the reason Xavier Rhodes got cut from the Vikings, because he made him look sad. Then you go to the New York Jets. Kenyon Williams, I had him in my last official mock draft. I had him being the number 1 pick to the Cardinals. I didn't think they were going to get Kyler Murray, but it became more apparent. Ja'Kai Polite I thought was going to be a good pick. Turned out not to be. They give it a B. I'd stick by a B. I think Kenyon Williams is solid. And we'll see where he can go, but a B is not bad. Josh Jacobs for the Oakland Raiders was a great pick. Cleveland Farrell was a complete reach, especially when Josh Allen was on the board. If they could have got Josh Allen instead of Cleveland Farrell, this would have been great. Abram missed most of the year. Mullen and Renfro were very good, especially Foster Moreau as well. I'll keep him at a B+. We don't know what's happening with Abram. We don't know what's happening with Abram, and even though Cleveland Farrell at number 4 was a reach, and they, excuse me, they could have got better players, he's not completely horrible. They got Max Crosby, who was probably what they wanted Cleveland Farrell to be. I think Max Crosby might have led the rookies in sacks, actually, now I'm thinking about it. He might have led them. But Josh Jacobs is already probably a top 15 back. Cleveland Farrell is solid. Max Crosby is very good. Abram, I imagine, is going to be good, but he was injured all last year. Trayvon Mullen slotted in starting corner after they traded away. What's his face? Conley after they traded Conley, so he still was there. He was very good. Moreau was decent. Renfro was a very, very good pick as well. So I'm gonna give them an A plus. That was a great draft by them. Maybe I'll go A just because of the Cleveland Farrell pick and Jonathan Abram missing the year. But everybody else was such a good pick. So I give them an A because their top 2 picks they missed out on. Top 2 of their top 3 picks is where they missed out on. Eagles getting Andre Dillard last year. Miles Sanders was very good. And Arcega-Whiteside was decent, but compared to the other guys, I mean, you're going to have to bump this down to like a B, B minus. Miles Sanders was a very good pick for them. Dillard, I think, can be good, especially we'll see. I think Jason Peters is gone or retired, but I think he'll be able to do well. But when you look at, they got Arcega-Whiteside at 57, and you look at other receivers they're going after him, and you look at how good the rookie receiver class was last year. In the NFL, for them to walk out here with Whiteside compared to them, it just wasn't too good. So I'll give them a solid B. I think it could have been better, but not horrible. Steelers, Devin Bush was a monster last year for the Steelers. On top of that, they got Justin Lane, who was okay. Benny Snell stuck in there for a couple snaps, which is good. Deontay Johnson was actually not as bad as I thought he would be. So B plus I think is a good spot for them to stay in. Devin Bush did everything they asked him more last year. I think he was very good. And Deontay Johnson, I didn't think would be that good, and he was pretty solid last year. I think he was a reach as well, but I think he was a reach at the time, and he still looked good. And they got depth in these positions as well. So I think B plus is a good place for them to be. 49ers, Nick Bosa, Deebo Samuel, Jalen Hurd, not really. Wisniewski at 110. They gave it a C plus. It says if Bosa and Samuel emerge as early playmakers, though, this will be seen as a solid draft class. You're right, and it's an A. Nick Bosa, actually A plus, because Nick Bosa and Deebo Samuel, they went to the Super Bowl. I mean, and Nick Bosa and Samuel were pretty big reasons why. So A plus for them. Seahawks, DK Metcalf in the second was insane for them to fall all the way there. Collier was a bad pick. Blair was a bad pick. They gave it a B. I think you got to move it down to a C plus. DK Metcalf was really the only thing to write home about. I think Metcalf was a solid pick, but other than that, I don't really think it was too much because they didn't really have too many. They had 11 picks, but I don't know. Off the top of my head, I'd say C plus because DK Metcalf's really the only one I'm coming out of the draft remembering. Buccaneers, Devin White, he's gonna be great. Did he have the best season last year? No. It wasn't really him though. It was kind of the Buccaneers. I think he did very well when he was on the field. Jamal Dean was very good. Sean Bunting was very good. Mike Edwards, I don't know. Personally, C plus, I'll bump it up to a B. Solid B. Dean and Bunting were very good last year for them. Same with Devin White. So I give him a B. Titans, A.J. Brown. Jeffrey Simmons. I don't know, man. It's one of those things where the D tackles were weird last year. But A.J. Brown was great. Monty Hooker was okay. C plus, I think that's probably a good place for them to stay. I bump up to a B just because A.J. Brown was that dude last year. Had one of the best rookie seasons. Was arguably a rookie of the year candidate. A lot of people thought he would have won rookie of the year actually. So I think B is a good place for them to be for there. Redskins, they got Dwayne Haskins, which looked like a steal of the draft. Turned out not to be. He turned out to be pretty poor. I think he 4 for 4 or 5 for 5 with touchdown to interception ratio. Montez Sweat was a great pick though. Terry McLaurin was a great pick. Bryce Love didn't really see the field. I'm pretty sure he got injured all year. They gave him an A plus. You're gonna have to bump it down because that Haskins pick was bad. It wasn't really their fault, but Montez Sweat and McLaurin were very good. You got to give it either A minus or a B plus. I'm not gonna pick between the two, but Haskins did not really show much. He looked pretty solid in the game against the Giants before he went down with injury. But yeah, I mean, the second game against the Giants, first game against the Giants, he looked horrible. So yeah, I give it a B, probably B plus over B plus or A minus, one of the two. And that's all the teams. So that is it for this video. Going on 30 minutes actually, so I did not expect it to be this long. Let me know what you think about your team's draft from last year. Let me know if you think I was wrong with my grades. Let me know what your grades are. Of course, like I said, 7-round mock drafts are going to come back, probably starting tomorrow. So leave your comments down below which teams you want me to do. If you haven't liked the video already, please do that. Subscribe if you're new. Turn on notifications if you want. We're doing NFL draft content, NFL free agency, anything to do with football. It's going to be here on this channel. And like I said, if you did like the video, please like it. If you did not like the video, just refresh it, try it again, and let me know how you feel the second time. And without further ado, that's going to be it for me. I'll see you guys in the next video.